Salut les Under. Donc aujourd'hui, interview différente puisqu'on va commencer, on va faire une série d'interviews de type international. Donc aujourd'hui, je vais recevoir un game dev expert qui vient d'Inde. Donc on a plein de questions à lui poser. Il y a eu plein de questions aussi dans la communauté. Donc on va voir ça tranquillement et petit à petit. On va faire une interview classique aussi des Under. On va voir d'abord quel gamer il est. Mais on va d'abord l'accueillir. Donc je vais accueillir Milan. Alors désolé les Under, mon anglais n'est pas extrêmement parfait, ok. N'hésitez pas, si vous regardez cette vidéo, à utiliser les sous-titres automatiques et les sous-titres YouTube. Je vais voir quelle solution je vais mettre en place. Mais on va partir, je dirais, avec Milan maintenant. So, welcome Milan. I'm really happy to have you in this podcast. So, welcome.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Cool. So, on this channel, we have a special tradition. Okay. So the first question is just about game you are liking, game you are playing, etc. So my first question, Milan, is, in your opinion, what is the greatest video game of all time?
Yeah,
And
that
why?
is kind of like the biased question, I must say. But like it's depend on person to person.
Mhm.
For me, like God of War, it's the greatest video game for all time because like I was playing the game when I was in school of fifth standard, right?
Mm.
I started like with the God of War 1, and right now like it has been like 20 years and I'm still playing the game. So that for me, that game is like attached with my childhood memory and also like one of the best games that I have played.
Okay, perfect. So it's a good game. So what game have impressed you recently? Really impressed.
Yeah, I would say like it's the Black Myth Wukong, right? Considering that like it's like the first series from China, I can say, which is like the best video game. But that is like really impressed me. The fighting tactics, combat style is pretty good. So Black Myth.
Okay, so it's a different question, but are there any Indian game you really like or have inspired you? And perhaps because like in China, for example, they have a ton of different games we don't know in Europe. Okay, so are there some really Indian game who perhaps we don't know in Europe and other country? Just talk about India game.
Yeah, so for Indian games, I particularly like the Raji, the Epic Adventure. So that game is kind of like deep into the story itself and also have like the fighting combat style pretty good. So it was story about like one girl who lost his brother. To find his brother, he take the help of devotees from the India, and all the art of the games are inspired from the ancient Indian times, and it have like the words into the oldest language into the world, which is Sanskrit. So it have the dialogues from the Sanskrit as well.
Cool. Okay, so we can start to talk about you, Milan.
Yeah.
So can you introduce you briefly, your family background, your childhood, and how video game is a part of your life in India? Because everybody have a different family, okay?
Yeah.
And what we like to know is how the game have been a part of your life and how your family is with game. Because sometimes some family don't like game, sometimes family like game, sometimes your parent can say no, you can't play game, I don't know, I don't want you play game. So explain us who are you and your
Yeah,
core.
so probably I need to like take back to like 20 years ago when I was playing the God of War. So it all started when I introduced with the arcade game station, which is like nearby my house. So I go there and play the game, lots of games. And sometimes eventually I don't go to the school or don't go to the tuition. I just like leave the home and go to the arcade station and play. And my family don't know I'm doing that at all. I just recently told them that I was doing that kind of thing in my childhood. Yeah, so at that time I was curious like how the game is made and how like everything was built up, right? So after like completing the 12th standard, I took the computer science, and only reason to take the computer science is only for like the game development, right? And I did my bachelor degrees in computer science, and then right after I started my career, uh, my family background, like my father and mother, don't know about the game industry at all, and uh, my father is kind of like the government servant, and he don't know, but he just trusts me. Like whatever you do, you do it. That's all. So my family don't have any kind of like restriction. You should do the gaming or not. But like sometimes like I see the parents, because like I had a seminar with like one institute into college, and lots of parents comes to me and ask me that like either the video game industry is like the good. So I just tell them, if your boy is playing the game only, or if he's creating the game, both are good in own way, right? But he should be on the top. That's all. So yeah, that is the thing. Yeah.
Cool. So what was your education and professional path until now?
I did bachelor only, bachelor of the computer science.
Okay, cool. Okay, so what is your current role in game development now?
Yeah,
What is
so
your job?
right now I'm CEO of the company,
Yeah.
Game Studio. Yeah. So I started my career as like the indie developer, and then I slowly developed the games and build the team, expand the team. So right now my job is like managing the people, but still I do the development myself sometimes, because like I like to do. So right now, like it's kind my job is like pretty much like checking on the how games are doing currently. Every day I look into the analytics of the game, which of my games are performing better, and why user is like playing or why not user is not playing. And based on the data, I instruct the team that okay, we should do that or we should remove this feature. That is my job currently.
Okay, cool. Perfect. So, what are the specific aspects and perhaps the difference between us in the Indian game industry?
Okay, so that is like I can say a very wide question, but I can point out like 2 to 3 different points, but like it's like it can be the list of the things. So first of all, like game industry here, it's the new thing. Like before 10 years ago, right? No Indian developer knows about like the game. I must say some knows, but it's not widespread, right? So here, like game industry is currently booming, and government is also encouraging to go into the gaming industry. So key difference is that like in India, there are no lots of AAA games has been produced, right? But like if you consider the Europe and the USA, the AAA games are kind of like the trend, and everyone's like doing the AAA games. The main reason of not doing the AAA games is, of course, like due to the budget constraints, and industry is new, people are learning, and people are getting the feedback and kind of there. And most of like game developers in India are like kind of like tend to create the games based on the India. So the example which I mentioned, like Raji, right, at the start of my conversation. So they are specifically bound to the Indian culture, and they are only doing the Indian culture in games. So that's why it's not like widespread into the market. But sometimes, like if you create like the games like the Black with Wukong, still it's like the culture is bound to the China, but it's widespread. So it's very depend on the budget, and every constraint. That is the first point. The second point is kind of like a technology, right? So Indian people are like techie people in IT industry, and whole world knows that, right? But like for Indian gaming industry, right, all the tech goes to like the gambling instead of gaming. So that is the reason. But like Indian government recently banned the gambling, I think like
Mm.
1 month ago only. So gambling is not legal anymore in India. So we see the lots of talented people coming into the actual original gaming industry.
Yeah,
So
yeah, cool. Really nice explanation. So I have already understand and listen. Some different people told me about gambling. Okay, and it was a really big problem because all people who make some development, some code programmation, go in gambling industry in India, and
yeah,
I'm sure it's a good decision, okay, about the government to do that, because ton of talent can go in a game industry. So personally, I am a big fan of horror game, okay, and one title, very indie title, is Fear to Fathom, okay, developed by Rail. And at the first time, I don't know Rail was an Indian people. But when I discover that, I say, yeah, it's really cool, because there are a ton of different talents in India. And here we have a specific guys, a solo developers who make a game, and every people in the world play this game. So it's specific game because it's horror game. But personally, I'm a fan of that. So my question is, do you think some people like Rail? I don't know if it's really a star in India or not, but do you know this type of people, when they are doing something like Fear to Fathom? Okay, it's a good thing, because it can be an example for other small developer in India.
yeah, for sure. Because like, let's say like if like one developer doing a good job and he is like recognized internationally, then like it would encourage like other developers to do good things also in right direction. And that I see that like lots of like companies are like trying to push to create the game which are like marketed worldwide instead of the India. So yeah, I think like that is a good
Cool.
step.
Okay, so is it easy today to become a developer in India? So because in French and in Europe it's the same, but sometimes it can be equilibrate, because if you have some money, you can do a lot of things. If you don't have money, you cannot do something, etc. How it's works in India? Is it really easy to become a developer or not?
Yeah, it's easy to become a developer in India, right? Uh, but like there are like certain factors and certain times that like we need to take into the consideration. Let's say like if you take an example of last 2 years, then it will be difficult to become a game developer comparatively COVID time. That if you become a game developer in COVID time, you can get the job easily and everything is fine, and you can move easily. It's depend on the time to time. It's depend on the market, of course, because like in recent times, like we see the lots of layoff in like the big game companies also. But right now, like that trend is gone, and like looks like market is stable. So it's depend on the market. But right now, if I say if you want to become a game developer in India, it's quite easy. It's not like that rocket science that you need to pass. Yeah.
Cool. So just after we go to the community question, but my last question is, at this time now, how are video games viewed in Indian society, about family, media, education, and is there a lot of player in India? Because if we take a look about some statistic, some projection, lot of people are saying in 2 next years, India will become a big place to play game because they have a ton of players. We have a ton of women playing in India. So can you explain us how it works in India about how the game are viewed by society and what's happened really in street? Are they on mobile? Are they play with their computer? How it works?
Okay, so your last question I directly asked, it will mobile for sure right now, but like my generation, I am like millennial, so my generation is the first generation which played game into the retrofit, like the retro console that like comes like the Super Mario and Contra. So after my generation, all of the Gen Z or like Gen Alpha are like have access to the gaming industry. But before my generation, there is no gaming at all because like So right now, like after my generation, everyone playing game, and that population is also growing. Meanwhile, the consumer here is on mobile. Like they are like not expect to buy a console, but like they are moving to the PC more, right? PC gaming more. Console is not that much popular into the India, but like PC gaming and the mobile are. And for mobile, like there is a huge market for sure for mobile gaming. And recently, like India has access to like the 5G network, and India is like the highest consumer of the data right now into the world. And that is the reason that like market is open. Everyone wants to play a game. Like here, like the PUBG is like very much famous. Lots of like the Gen Z people always playing the PUBG. So PUBG is like earning lots from the India itself. So yeah, market is pretty much big, and it's going to be big by 2015 for sure.
Cool. Okay, and can you say if young people, okay, children, young adults, etc., do they like indie game? Have you a culture of indie game? Okay, so I have talked about Rail on Fear of Two Phantom, for example, but are they Indian have a specific culture of indie game, or it just the start about that?
I would say it's just a start. It's not like a specific culture of the indie game right now, but like when we see like lots of like indie games become popular here in India, it will become a boom. So right now, like lots of like people are not getting like enough attraction to the game. So
cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so I take some question about the community. Okay, so they have the first question is Steam doesn't currently offer indie translation for store pages. Okay, so what language does the Steam store interface appear in for Indian user? When you go in Steam and other Indian people, what is the language they have? English.
English. Okay. Yeah, and also like to like answer this question more broadly, here in India, like after my generation, lots of people know the English very well, and like in my company also, like we talk in English. So it's not like a language barrier, because like if you are targeting a language localization in India, you are in trouble, because we have like the 50 different languages. You can't like you can't do that. You can't do that, right? So English is the universal language you can take the consideration. Or if you want to do the localization anyway, then the Hindi is like the only way. So English or Hindi, but English is the most preferable way.
Okay, and you can confirm English. It's really a native second language for Indian people.
No, not a native language, but like here, like the education, engineering degree, and like any bachelor degree done in English, right? So basically, like everyone knows, like if they can't speak, but they can
Okay.
read or write.
Okay, so in Europe, for example, when you make a game, you can contact some YouTubers, TikTokers, Instagrammers. So how it works in India? Is there any other platform, for example? Or...
No, lots of time like Indian game creator contact with creators in YouTube, creators in Instagram, and do the marketing there only. There's no other platform they use for the marketing of the
Okay,
games.
cool. The third question. Okay, so you have already answered, but I redo the question. So India is shown, it know by everybody, it's a hub for very developers' talent. Okay, so how do you explain the lack of structure or visibility in the Indian game development market? For example, China have a clear strategy from over these last years to infiltrate and eventually dominate the game production. So you have already said they have started to do that. So perhaps you can just confirm India want to be a big actor in game industry.
Yeah, that's correct. So right now we just started and it will become a boom after like certain people because we have like the tech people and tech people knows its job. It's just need to put into the right direction. That's all.
Okay, cool. And I add another question from me, but from a ton of last years, we understand ton of company use India to be outsource, okay, to be a co-working part of that. Can you say, is it possible in game industry? No, for example, if I am a French studio production, can I create a specific team in India just to make my game and with quality?
Yes, I am doing that for last 6 years. So I also do the outsourcing. So yeah, I know that business very well. Basically, like let's say like if you have any vision to create a game, right, and you don't have a team. So here you can like give the work, just explain the concept. We will do everything for you. Basically, like from creating the concept art to 3D or 2D modeling, to the programming and to the deployment also. So that can be done easily.
Cool. Okay. Okay. You have already answered these questions. So I passed this. Okay. This is a special question. We often associate Indian cinema with huge cast and large-scale production. So, are indie game dev team in India larger than in other country, or how it works? Because we have the big picture of big Hollywood cinema, etc., but not really in game. So, what's happened?
Yeah. So here it's not like that. Hollywood and Bollywood, both movie production, if we have like the large scale production house, then we need a budget for sure, right? If he's in like that can be in India or any country, we need a budget. So right now, like people are like kind of like started investing into the gaming locally here into the market. So once like investment is become, we will show the larger like the group. But for the indie game right now, like indie people, it's not. It can be like 4 to 5 people or 2 to 3 people only and create a games. It's not like we say like it's the indie game and it's created by 100 people. So yeah, it's not like that at all. Yeah, like it's like 2 to 5 people for the indie game only.
Other question. So, is it possible for Indian dev to live off game development alone? Or do most people need to combine two jobs or make ends meet? So people need to can they have only development job, or people need to have two jobs? Because ton of people in Europe, for example, can't live with their only alone production. They need to have two jobs, one specific job for the money, and they create game in the free time.
Yeah.
So have you this type of people, of developers in India?
I don't think so. I have seen these kind of people. If they like the gaming industry, they will start a career in gaming industry anyway. Right? There's no specific possible to do the two job thing here. Two job thing is not like that much popular here in India.
Okay, cool. So in Indian game, okay, perhaps some game we don't know in Europe, especially in fantasy game, is the bestiary is inspired by local mythology or legend, and have you some very specific content we cannot really perhaps understand, okay? And it's totally inspired by your mythology, your legend, etc.
Yeah, there are lots of like games that has been created based on our mythology. So Raji, that game that I mentioned, it's based on the mythology. All the like the gods and the characters are on that particularly, and there are like lots of other card games also that has been like introduced into the gaming market. It's based on the mythology. And right now, like I must say one thing, there are lots of like Greek mythology, raw mythology game into the market, but not too many Indian mythology games. And that is being like, I think like that question comes from that mind. So the reason is being that like, if you like hear like the mythology, it's like more kind of like ritual thing to us, and like you can't like do certain thing to certain god. So that's why like some people are not like taking the risk of doing that. But like if you know the histories very well in India, right, you can't touch three gods only, you can do everything with other gods, right? So basically like if you create a games based on like the Indra is like the god of like the thunder. It's basically is used into the Greek. You can create a game based on Indra, right? So that is thing. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So the question are special because but people like to understand that, to know that. So does Indian have science fiction, sci-fi? Are there some sci-fi game in Indian? No.
No, we just like experimenting with the sci-fi movie right now. So no sci-fi game, but like there is a one game which is like the Indus Battle Royale, right? But it's kind of like a clone of PUBG with the Indian theme. You can say that it's the sci-fi game, but like shooting game.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the last question from community. So horror, thriller and horror are really deeply cultural in India. This is our feeling in Europe. Okay, how can you explain that? India people like horror game or horror content. What kind of things are considered scary for India players?
Okay, so I think like horror games or horror movie, we can say like anything sudden can like create like the humor into the game. But like here in India, like if you ask me like if I like watch like the Conjuring movie, right? I don't feel like that much horror, right? But if I watch something like based on like the rural India into the village and those kind of like things like the witches and like the story which kind of like we heard into the childhood, I will feel more horror. So yeah. That is the thing.
Okay, so last question from me about that is if I am an European indie game developers and I want to focus on Indian market, okay, what do you advise to me to create? What sort of game I need to create to be really a big success in India?
My question,
Yeah.
I can ask close question actually. So, are you targeting on mobile or like are you targeting on like PC or like the console? That kind of like
Okay,
question
so
first
if I
rounds.
targeting on PC,
Okay, then like you need to like consider creating like the fantasy based game which can like touch the actually like the Raji game that I told you. It's like the idea of like European people and created by Indian people, right? So they like study lots of things over here, like how like our mythology works and how our like the spiritual things work and how we can connect the emotions of the Indian people. So they basically put a story of like the small girl and small boy. One sister lost his brother and he want to find this uh, brother. So if you can like the touch the emotions of the Indian people, it will hit into the market for sure. And that applies to all of the world.
Cool. Okay, just because me, I am sometimes I'm say some different thing, and in my opinion, there are too much 3D asset from USA. Okay, so in every game you are in USA story, but in reality,
Yeah.
it's just because we don't have any other type of 3D asset, for example. So are there some 3D asset like really specific to India with, I don't know, perhaps some Indian house, some Indian street, some Indian tree and vegetation? Have you some 3D stuff really focused on India? Or, in my opinion, if it is not exist, someone need to do that.
Yeah, there are lots of models and there are lots of like asset like really focused on the India, but like every game need its own art, right? So let's say like if your art style didn't match with the 3D model that currently have, right? So you need to change it anyway. So you can find like lots of model for sure, and I already use that in like lots of game.
Okay, cool. Okay, so we are at the end of the interview, Milan. So just three different parts. Specific question is, what would you like to see for the future of Indian game development? What do you want to see in the future of Indian game development?
Yeah, I want to see a game that coming for like AAA game like the Black Myth Wukong, and that will come for sure. It's just matter of time and like matter of the market. But I want to see some big company making the game based on like the Indian theme and Indian mythology. That I want to see for sure.
Cool. Okay, and talk about you. What do you have any upcoming personal project? What are your next milestone for you? What can you explain us? And perhaps if you need something, you can ask. Perhaps if someone looks this podcast, can it contact you for something, for make some outsourcing, for make some game? So talk just about you and your next milestone.
Yeah, so right now, like I am currently focused on like both thing. I am doing the service and the product both at the same time. Like my next plan is to release like at least like 15 games a year into the market, and I certainly I will achieve that for sure. So I want to like switch my focus from like the service based to the product based completely 100%. So yeah, currently my focus is that only creating lots of games. You are muted.
Yeah, sorry. So this is the end of the podcast. So I give you a white place. You can say anything, perhaps just one word, perhaps just one sentence. Okay. And first, I really say thank you, Milan. It's really cool to talk with different people and game developer people around the world. So you are the first, okay, of this new series of podcast and interview. So really, thank you. And let's use final words. Okay, you can say what you want, etc. Let's go.
Yeah, from my side, like I think like if you give me a white paper, I can fill the white paper fully, but we don't have that much time. So I want to say like thank you for having me, and let's make a game much more better and like yeah, create a games that will change the world. That's all.
Thank you. Bye, Milan.
Yeah.
Voilà, c'était l'interview de Milan, qui est un game développeur expert en Inde, qui a une entreprise qui permet de faire de l'outsourcing avec l'Inde ou d'accompagner des studios. Et comme vous l'avez vu, c'est un marché qui est en pleine émergence et qui est en pleine mise en place. Donc voilà les Under. C'était l'interview de Milan. J'espère que ce contenu vous aura plu. Alors je sais que mon anglais est cata, les gars, que j'ai une prononciation de taré. Bien sûr, j'arrive à tout comprendre, mais ma prononciation, mon talk et tout, il est pas ouf. Mais je l'assume et au moins ça permet de faire des interviews en anglais. Il n'y a aucun souci là-dessus. Donc merci à vous. Abonnez-vous si vous n'êtes pas abonné. N'hésitez pas à follow. Rejoignez la communauté si vous êtes développeur. Ciao les Under. À bientôt.